There's something about you that can't be explained in simple terms. Maybe you felt it your whole life, that quiet difference, that sense that you weren't made to blend in. Or maybe others noticed it first, before you did, reacting to you in ways that left you confused. One moment they admire you, the next they seem unsettled. One day they want to be near you, the next they pull away. And you wonder, what is it about me that stirs such contradictions in people? The truth is, what you carry inside you is rare. It doesn't fit neatly into categories, it doesn't follow the rules of imitation, and it cannot be explained away as luck or chance. Your very existence holds a weight, a presence, a kind of light that forces people to respond, even when they don't understand why. Some are drawn to it, some resist it, and some try to copy it, but no one can deny it. You may not realize this yet, but your gift, the essence of who you are, was not random. It was placed within you with intention. Every trial, every scar, every hidden season of silence has been shaping it, preparing it, refining it. And that's why you can't be ignored, even if you've tried to stay quiet. Your presence carries more than just personality. It carries evidence of purpose. And yes, that purpose makes people uncomfortable, because your very being reveals something in them, what they've suppressed, what they've neglected, what they've avoided. Without saying a word, you become a mirror, reflecting back to them the dreams they abandoned and the strength they've yet to discover. That's why they react the way they do. That's why some feel uneasy when you walk into the room. But here's the deeper truth. Your gift was never about unsettling others. It was always about awakening something greater. It was given to serve, to heal, to clarify, to transform, and while some may resist it, others are waiting for it, waiting for you. So, in the moments ahead, I want to take you through a journey. Not to tell you who you should become, but to remind you of who you already are. To show you why your presence carries the weight it does. To reveal why your struggles did not break you, but built you. And to remind you, above all else, that your gift was never meant for applause. It was meant for impact. 1. Your presence unsettles others. There are people who look at you and cannot put into words why you disturb their comfort. It's not that you've done something wrong. It's not that you went out of your way to challenge them. No. What unsettles them is the very fact that you exist as you are. You walk into a room, and without saying a word, the air feels different. Something about your presence unsettles the foundation of others' self-perception. They cannot copy it, though many will try. You've seen it before. Someone notices the way you carry yourself. They mimic your expressions. They copy the way you dress. They even attempt to repeat your words. But no matter how much effort they put into imitating, they can't reproduce the substance. They can grab the outer shell, but not the spirit. They can duplicate the action, but not the essence. That essence, what you carry, comes from a place they cannot reach. This is why people feel threatened, because your presence doesn't just shine, it exposes. Without speaking, you hold up a mirror. You remind others of the places within themselves they've neglected, the gifts they've silenced, the dreams they've buried. It's not intentional. You're not trying to unsettle anyone. But your authenticity speaks louder than their denial. You reveal the gaps they've tried to hide. And when someone has lived years hiding behind masks, the last thing they want is for someone like you to walk in and strip those masks away just by being yourself. What you carry is not a skill someone can pick up in a weekend. It's not something that can be practiced in front of a mirror until it looks believable. It's something forged deep within, something unteachable. That's why they don't understand how you became who you are. That's why they whisper, why they question, why they react with confusion or resistance. Because what you have cannot be explained in human terms. It's the kind of gift that feels almost unfair to those who rely on imitation to survive. Think about it. Anyone can rehearse lines, but only a few can speak with authority. Anyone can learn steps, but only a few can carry rhythm that makes others stop and listen. Anyone can memorize a routine, but only a few can live out a presence so natural, so undeniable, that it feels like it was breathed into them before birth. That's you. That's why they can't stand too close without feeling unsettled. But here's the irony. What intimidates them is the very thing that frees others. While some shrink under the light you bring, others feel awakened by it. While some become defensive, others finally exhale, finally feel seen, finally realize they too can rise, and that's the paradox of your presence. It is both a challenge and a gift. So don't be surprised when people treat you with suspicion, or when you feel misunderstood. Don't waste energy trying to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. The truth is, if your presence did not unsettle anyone, it would mean you're blending in, hiding the very thing you were meant to express. The unease others feel is not proof that you're wrong, it's proof that you're real. 2. You were designed with purpose. Before you ever spoke your first word, before you learned the meaning of effort or ambition, there was something already woven into you. A thread of intention, a quiet mark of design. You were not assembled by accident, and you were not placed here without reason. Every detail of who you are, from the way your mind moves to the rhythm of your heartbeat, carries evidence of purpose. It's easy, in a world full of noise, to believe that life is random, to believe that you are merely a product of circumstance. But step back for a moment. Consider how the sun rises each morning without fail. How the tides respond faithfully to the pull of the moon. How seeds hidden in the soil know, without instruction, how to break open and reach toward light. Purpose is not an afterthought. It is embedded in creation itself. And if the stars and oceans move with intention, why would you be the exception? There is a reason your voice carries the tones it does. There is a reason your spirit feels restless when confined. There is a reason certain dreams visit you at night and refuse to leave, even when you try to dismiss them. These are not coincidences. They are signposts, whispers from the unseen reminding you that you are more than a collection of habits, more than a series of accidents. You are chosen. And to be chosen is not about superiority. It is about responsibility. You were entrusted with something the world needed. Something that could not be delivered through anyone else's hands, no matter how skilled. When you walk into a room, this design is present with you. People may not understand it, but they can feel it. Some respond with awe, others with discomfort, but the reaction itself proves the weight you carry. Think of yourself as a vessel, a jar molded with care, shaped by invisible hands, and set apart for a task only it could fulfill. The shape is not random. The curve of the clay, the strength of the walls, the space inside, each detail serves a function. Likewise, every quirk of your personality, every scar of your past, every lesson learned in solitude has shaped you for what you are meant to hold and pour out. There will be times when you question it, when the silence makes you wonder if you've been overlooked. But hidden growth is still growth. Seeds remain unseen before they rise. Caterpillars disappear into darkness before they emerge transformed. Do not mistake invisibility for insignificance. Even in your quiet seasons, purpose has been at work, forming depth where the eye cannot see. Others may try to explain away what you carry. They may attribute it to luck, to talent, to charm. But you know, deep down, that none of those words capture the truth. This is not a costume you put on. It is not a skill you memorized. It is a calling written into the architecture of your being. Something higher, something vast, decided that the world would one day need what you alone could offer, and so you were sent. When you recognize this, it changes the way you see yourself. You stop chasing comparisons. You stop questioning whether you are enough, because you finally understand. You were never meant to be a copy. You were designed as an answer. 3. The light you carry is different. Imagine a village where every home is lit by a small candle. The glow is soft, enough to see one's hands, enough to guide someone across the room. People become accustomed to this dim light. They learn to squint, they accept the shadows, they even convince themselves that this is all the world has to offer. And then one night, someone enters the village carrying a lantern brighter than anything they've ever seen. Suddenly, walls that were hidden in shadow are revealed. Corners that were ignored now come into view. The villagers gasp, not because the lantern is wrong, but because its brilliance makes them realize how little they've truly seen. That lantern is you. The light you carry does not flicker like an ordinary flame. It is not meant only for your own path. It spills outward, filling spaces, reaching further than you ever intended. And this is why others sometimes react with unease. A candle in a room does not challenge anyone. It feels familiar, manageable. But when someone walks in with a light that floods the entire space, it demands that everything be seen as it truly is. Your presence does that. It changes atmospheres. Without trying, you expose what was hidden. You bring clarity where there was confusion. You awaken what has been asleep. And while some are grateful for this, others feel overwhelmed. For those who have built their lives in dimness, your radiance feels disruptive. They have grown comfortable in half-light, where flaws can stay hidden and truth can remain blurred. Your brightness leaves them with a choice, to adjust their eyes to see clearly, or to retreat back into darkness. And yet, your light was never about comparison. It wasn't given to make candles feel small. It wasn't given to prove superiority. Light does not argue with light. It simply shines. The difference is that your flame was kindled for impact far beyond the ordinary. Some are meant to illuminate a single step. You are meant to illuminate the horizon. Think of a lighthouse standing on a rocky shore. To those on land, it may look like a tower with a simple beam. But to sailors lost in a storm, that light is salvation. To them, it is the difference between wreckage and rescue. In the same way, your gift may look ordinary to some who cannot understand it. But to those wandering, those searching, those desperate for direction, your presence is exactly what keeps them alive. And here is the part many forget. Carrying that kind of light can be heavy. A candle can be left unattended and still survive. A lantern, a lighthouse. Those require tending, protection, fuel. You cannot carry this gift carelessly because the reach of your light depends on how faithfully you guard it. The brighter the flame, the greater the responsibility. But never doubt this. The world needs that brightness. For every person who resists, there are more who are waiting. Waiting to see clearly, waiting to find hope, waiting to feel the warmth of a light that doesn't just glow faintly in the corner, but that floods the whole room, the whole landscape, the whole night. So understand this. Your light is not ordinary. You are not here to blend into the background glow of candles. You are meant to be the one who turns night into day, the one who reveals what others could not see, the one who carries a brilliance that cannot be dimmed. 4. Quiet consistency speaks louder than words. Let me be honest with you. People notice more than they admit. They might not say it out loud, but they've been watching you, not just when you succeed, but in the long, quiet stretches where no one was clapping, when there was no audience, no spotlight, no applause. And that's where the truth of who you are was revealed. Because while others were chasing attention, you were building. While some spent their energy making noise, you were focused on movement. Quiet, steady, deliberate. Day after day, when no one seemed to care, you kept showing up. And here's the thing, consistency doesn't shout, but over time, it cannot be ignored. That's what unnerves people about you. They thought you'd fade away when no one was cheering. They thought the silence would discourage you. They thought you needed their approval to keep going. But you didn't. You grew in the shadows. You refined yourself when nobody was looking. And now, the fruit of that hidden work speaks louder than any rumor or opinion ever could. Have you noticed how some people only show up when the cameras are on? They shine for a moment, but it's fragile, dependent on being seen. The moment the attention fades, so do they. But you've been training in silence. You've been sowing seeds in places no one else bothered to look. That's why your roots run deeper. That's why your growth is undeniable. You didn't need the stage to validate you. The stage simply revealed what you had already become. And yes, people envy results, but they often avoid responsibility. They want what you carry without carrying the weight that shaped it. They want the harvest without the patience of planting. They want the recognition, not the refinement. But here's the truth. Refinement is where the power lies. It's the early mornings, the late nights, the small decisions repeated faithfully that built your strength. That's what gave your presence authority. Your quiet consistency unsettles people because it removes their excuses. It proves that you don't have to be the loudest voice to make the deepest impact. It proves that progress isn't always flashy, it's persistent. And that persistence, over time, is louder than any speech, any post, any performance. Think about water carving through stone. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush. It just flows, steady and sure, until the rock itself yields. That's you. You've kept going, and now the evidence of your persistence is undeniable. No amount of gossip can erase it. No denial can hide it. You've carved your mark not by noise, but by never quitting. And this is why your presence carries weight now. People may not be able to articulate it, but they sense it. That you've been consistent when they were inconsistent, disciplined when they were distracted, faithful when they were fickle. That's why you feel different. That's why you stand out. So when you walk into a room, remember this. You don't need to announce yourself. You don't need to prove anything. Your consistency has already done the speaking for you. The quiet strength you've built in private is louder than anything you could ever say out loud. 5. Pressure shaped your strength. Pressure has a way of revealing what comfort hides. Anyone can appear strong when the road is smooth, when the sky is clear, when life is generous. But true strength is not proven in calm waters. It is proven in the storm, when the winds howl and the waves rise higher than your head. And you have lived through storms that should have broken you. You have walked through fires that should have consumed you. Yet here you are, not only surviving, but carrying a power that only pressure could create. Think about the diamond. At its origin, it is nothing more than carbon, ordinary, common, unremarkable. But when placed under unrelenting pressure and unimaginable heat, it transforms into something the world calls priceless. That is you. The heat you endured, the crushing weight you carried, the relentless seasons you thought would destroy you, they were not wasted. They were shaping you into something unshakable. Others might gossip, they might plot, they might whisper against you, but none of that can undo what the fire has forged. Because fire does not just test, it seals. Once metal has passed through flames, it does not return the same. It emerges stronger, refined, prepared for use. The very seasons people thought would end, you only prepared you for impact. And here lies the irony. While some cursed your struggles, you were being crafted in them. While some laughed at your setbacks, you were being trained by them. They thought the storm was proof that you were losing, but in truth, the storm was your classroom. Every wave taught you endurance. Every flame taught you resilience. Every dark night taught you faith. And when dawn finally came, you rose with a strength no one could deny. This is why gossip cannot touch you. This is why envy cannot derail you. This is why betrayal cannot undo you. Because none of those things shaped you, the pressure did. And once something has been solidified in pressure, no outside force can dissolve it. Your strength is not fragile. It does not depend on the opinions of people. It was formed in a furnace hotter than their words, heavier than their judgment, deeper than their rejection. Remember this: the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. The most unbreakable vessels are tested by impact. The brightest stars are born from collapsing darkness. Your story is no different. You carry authority not because things were easy, but because you survived what others could not. You stand tall not because you were spared hardship, but because you endured it and came out stronger. And here's the truth. Pressure does not just shape you for yourself. It prepares you for those who will one day lean on your strength. The storms you survived will become shelter for others. The fire you endured will become warmth for those still shivering in the cold. Your scars will speak louder than words, testifying that survival is possible, that resilience is real, that strength is born in struggle. So never despise the weight you've carried. Never curse the nights that stretched endlessly. They were not wasted, they were making you. Every ounce of pressure was bending you into form, refining you for purpose, sealing into you a strength that cannot be faked, cannot be copied, cannot be broken. 6. Your gift was made to serve. Your gift was never meant to sit on a shelf, polished and admired like a trophy. It was never meant to gather dust in a display case, impressive to look at, but untouched by real need. What you carry inside you was given for a greater reason, for people, for healing, for awakening. It was placed in you to move through you, not to stay hidden within you. Think about rain. It doesn't fall just to prove it can. It falls to nourish the ground, to fill the rivers, to awaken seeds waiting in silence. Your gift is like that. It exists not to prove your worth, not to bring applause, not to make you shine for the sake of shining. It exists to pour into others, to awaken what has been dormant, to refresh lives that have been dry for too long. And this is why not everyone will understand you. Some will always feel threatened because they look at your gift and see it as competition. They measure it as if it's about who shines brighter, but they miss the point. Light is not about rivalry. It is about reach. And the reach of your gift extends far beyond yourself. It touches hearts you will never meet. It shifts atmospheres you will never see. It creates ripples that travel farther than you could ever imagine. There are people waiting for you, though they don't know your name. Someone out there is searching for clarity that your words can bring. Someone is waiting for the courage that your example will spark. Someone is looking for hope, and they will find it because you refuse to bury what was placed inside of you. This is why protecting your gift matters. Not for ego, not for status, but because someone else's breakthrough might depend on your obedience. Picture a torchbearer running through the night. The flame they carry is not just for them. It lights the path for those who follow. Without it, the road ahead would remain invisible. That's what your gift does. It lights paths, opens doors, builds bridges. And while others may try to dismiss it, resist it, or even attack it, there will always be those who are quietly waiting for it. They may not cheer loudly, they may not even tell you, but their lives will be changed because you carried what you were given. And here's something to remember. A gift is not measured by how many people admire it, but by how many people are lifted because of it. You may never see the full impact of your offering. You may never know all the lives touched by your presence. But the absence of recognition does not mean the absence of purpose. The work of a seed is often invisible long before it bears fruit. So carry your gift with care. Guard it from distraction, nurture it with discipline, and allow it to flow where it is needed. Don't waste it on endless arguments. Don't pour it into battles that do not matter. Your gift was not meant to fight for attention. It was meant to bring transformation. And as it flows through you, you'll see it. Confusion turning into clarity, despair turning into hope, weakness turning into strength. That's the evidence. That's the reason you were entrusted with it. Your gift is not just yours. It was designed for the world that desperately needs it. Look back at everything we've uncovered together. You've seen why people respond to you the way they do. You've seen how your presence unsettles, how your gift is undeniable, how your light reaches further than most can imagine. You've walked through the truth of your quiet consistency, the storms that forged your strength, and the deeper reality that your gift was never just for you. It was always meant to serve something greater. And now you stand here, more aware of what you carry, not by accident, not by coincidence, but because it's time. Time to stop questioning whether you're enough. Time to stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Time to stop treating your gift like it's fragile when it has already proven itself unbreakable under pressure. The unease others feel in your presence is not a flaw, it's evidence. Evidence that your light is shining in places where others have grown used to shadows. Evidence that your consistency has built something stronger than applause. Evidence that your very existence carries a purpose that cannot be copied, cannot be imitated, and cannot be stopped. Yes, some will resist you. Yes, some will misunderstand, but that is not your focus. Because for every person unsettled by your presence, there are others waiting for the clarity you bring, waiting for the strength your story carries, waiting for the hope only your gift can deliver. You were chosen for them, so let this truth settle deep. You are not here just to survive. You are here to shine. You are not here just to be seen. You are here to transform. What was planted in you was never meant to stay hidden, never meant to gather dust, never meant to be silenced. It was meant to flow, to light the way, to heal what was broken, to remind the world that something greater is still at work. Protect it, nurture it, and above all, release it, because once your gift is unleashed, there is no power strong enough to contain it. No resistance loud enough to drown it out, no fear deep enough to bury it. This is your time, this is your assignment, and this is your reminder. You are not made to blend in. You are made to stand out. You are not made to follow the patterns of imitation. You are made to set new patterns entirely. And no matter who feels threatened by it, your gift will speak for itself. So walk forward, confident, steady, certain. Carry your light into the places still waiting for it, because the world doesn't just want what you carry, the world needs it.